from Los Angeles, it's the Tom Leykis Show.
I love you.
And now, here he is, Tom Leykis.
Thank you for tuning into the Tom Leykis Show. This is where America gets together to talk about the issues you really care about. It's a different kind of a radio talk program. We're the radio talk show that is not hosted by a right-wing wacko or a convicted felon. No. I am your host. Write down our toll-free telephone number. You're going to need it at 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. Here we are together again on the radio. Dateline, Washington, D.C. A Harvard Political Institute has criticized the hip retailer Urban Outfitters for a new T-shirt campaign declaring that, quote, this is the T-shirt, is what it says in the T-shirt. It says, quote, voting is for old people. The Institute chided the Philadelphia-based clothing chain for appearing to wear its apathy on its chest, calling the T-shirt slogan the wrong statement at the wrong time in the pivotal presidential election year. Now listen to this. Dan Glickman, director of the Harvard Institute of Politics, former congressman, former Agriculture Secretary under President Bill Clinton, and student chairman Elon Graff wrote a letter to Urban Outfitters CEO Richard Hain, and they said the shirt's message could not be further from the truth. That statement, may I say, could not be further from the truth. Just look at the numbers. Who votes? The older you are, the more likely it is you're going to vote. The older you are, the more likely it is you're going to care about politics, read about politics, watch political programs on TV, read books about politics. With very few exceptions, young people don't give a rat's ass about politics. Don't believe the hype. If young people cared as much about politics as some morons believe, wouldn't Howard Dean have done better? Oh, yeah, he was going to be the Democratic nominee. Remember, it was guaranteed. All the young people on the Internet sending in their contributions, and Howard Dean is $40 million. He's going to be that. Baloney.
We're going to California and Texas and New York, and then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House. Yeah!
Oh, my God. By the way, is Howard Dean in California for Super Tuesday? No. Nope. Nope. Well, why shouldn't there be a T-shirt that says, voting is for old people? It is. No doubt about it. And don't even, and by the way, I know someone will call in and mention Rock the Vote. Dean, if you want to put the call through, that's fine. Rock the Vote, which has been seen on MTV and elsewhere. Let's be honest. Rock the Vote is not on MTV because it makes money. It's not on MTV because it reflects the political interests of people who watch MTV. Rock the Vote is a public service announcement that they throw onto MTV so that they can spend the rest of the year running the Osbournes and gangster rap videos and all that stuff and not be criticized. They say, hey, we also have Rock the Vote. Come on, please. You don't really think MTV viewers give a rat's ass about politics. Are there exceptions? I'm sure there are. Don't waste our time, okay? Bottom line, generally speaking, the older you are, the more interested you are in politics. The younger you are, and let me add, the more female you are, and young, in other words, young females, they really don't care and really don't vote. How can you say that the message, voting is for old people, on the T-shirt at Urban Outfitters, how can you say it's the wrong message? It's the exact right message. It's 100% true. Isn't it?
1-800-5800-TOM.
Really?
1-800-5800-866.
Now, let's say you were making the same amount of money you're making now when you were back 25 years old.
Oh, you kidding me? I'd have had more phones. I'd have been banging 4 chicks a day. I'd be dead.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Yep. Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM. Shane on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Yeah, Tom, I was going to say that I don't think is arguing that old people aren't the majority that vote. It's kind of a message that's saying that young people shouldn't go out there and vote, and it's a negative thing to be telling a lot of young people. I'm a college student. I talked to my girlfriend today. She's not going to vote. Half the people that I know at school aren't going to vote.
That's the point I'm making to you.
Well, I know. I understand that a lot of young people don't. But by having other young people promote the fact that they shouldn't vote is a pretty stupid idea.
But they don't vote. They don't care. And why not tell the truth?
Because I don't think that's the issue that they're trying to make. It's like, I totally agree with you. Yes, the older majority do vote. The older people do vote. But I mean,
no, the majority. I don't think the majority do vote.
Oh, no, I misstated myself. I didn't mean that the majority of old people vote, but the majority of people that do vote, yes, are older. But, I mean, as a young person myself, I want to be the person that's out there that's going to represent my age group and over some, 85-year-old guy that might not agree with me on this or that. I want my voice to be heard. I want to be out there and promoting my American right to vote.
Uh-huh. But the shirt is just telling the truth, isn't it?
It says voting is for old people. Voting is not for old people. It's for everybody.
It is in this country.
Yeah, and that's what I'm Urban Outfitters, I'm sure, is referring to the American people. I mean, they're not going to bring up a huge issue. I mean,
here's what Urban Outfitters said about the statement. They said it was a statement meant to draw attention to the growing rift between politicians and their platforms and the concerns of young people in this country.
Okay, well, I think that's ridiculous.
You do?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I don't think that's a true statement.
What do you think is true?
I think that young people should get out there and vote. I mean, that's the truth. But you're right, they don't. I mean, if you're not educated on the facts, then don't go out and vote, because you're just going to make a stupid decision.
Hang on a second, Shane. Steve, what do you want to say to Shane here?
What are you, a freaking Poindexter? You're like, you're like a college student. I mean, young people don't think about that stuff. You're more or less to think about going out with girls and listening to talk, for God's sakes.
I am a college student, but I probably know more about the facts on the issues in the California election than you would.
I hardly think so. It's the same thing. No young person in their right mind would vote. They have two kids, like they're either working or doing other things.
I'm on my way to vote. I'm on my way to vote right now. We're on the phone.
Well, congratulations there, buddy.
Well, how old are you?
I'm 23.
And you're not going to vote?
I'm going to go vote, but I mean...
So what's your point then?
But no one in their right mind would freaking vote. They're like, any young person just goes out and has fun.
Well, so do I, but I can
second guess it. I mean, why would they even do it?
I mean, I still go out.
Sure.
I still have fun. I party every weekend. I get laid 7 times a week. I'm going to go vote.
Oh, my God.
I got a girl, man. I'll get her on the phone.
Oh, great.
By the way, Shane, is she voting? That's what I was going to say.
Sorry, dragged them in there.
She's not. Your girlfriend's not going to vote.
No, she's not.
Of course she's not.
Yeah, I know. And that's what I told her. I said that's ridiculous.
So you read the paper to her?
Yeah, right. Why would I waste my time?
You watch why waste your time trying to teach some young broad about the news or politics? Please, don't even waste your time.
I mean, I agree with you to a point, but I mean, come on, there's no reason you shouldn't go out and vote just because you're young.
Thank you, Steve. Hey, Sean, what did you want to say to Shane?
I just want to tell you I'm 39 years old. You know what? I've never voted. I think it's a complete joke and a waste of time. And the only people I know that vote are like foreigners that just got their green card or whatever. They're all think it counts and stuff. Let me tell you, your vote does not count. Our government's going to...
Well, just for the record, you can't vote with a green card. You have to be a citizen.
Or to become a citizen, that's what I meant. I'm sorry.
Well, I think it's a big joke. It's probably to the advantage of our country that you don't vote. You don't sound like a very intelligent person.
Okay, well, I am intelligent. I'm 39 years old, and we killed our own president. It's a goddamn joke. It's a joke. If you think your vote counts, you're living in la-la land. Grow up.
Yeah.
Seriously, grow up.
I'm on my way to do that.
All right, Shane, Sean, thank you. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Let's say hello to Kelsey on the Tom Leykis Show.
I couldn't agree with you more. I'm an 18-year-old female, and I could care less about voting. And I think I just don't have time to care. I'm at work, I'm at school all the time, and everyone else my age is at work and at school at the time. And pretty much if you're voting for whatever your parents believe, and then it's just a waste.
Or your boyfriend or whatever.
And my mom is actually willing to buy my vote and my boyfriend's vote because she knows we don't care about it, and she'd rather have her vote count as triple. So here's her point.
Yeah. So you agree with the T-shirt?
I agree with the T-shirt. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah. You can't believe people are, thinking this is controversial.
It's not at all. Nobody cares. No one I know cares about voting. If they do, it's just because, I don't know. I don't know why they care.
That's right.
Blow me up, Tom.
Here you go, Kelsey. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. David on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, David.
How you doing, my brother?
Do you care, David?
Of course I do.
Doing great.
Listen, Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't the votes that we put in as individuals not count? The presidential race is determined by electoral votes.
Well, that's only the presidential race.
Well, right. Isn't that what this primary is about?
No. The primary is not determined by the Electoral College.
Okay, well...
For one thing. And the other is that in California, we're voting on a couple of propositions.
Yeah, that's true. The proposition...
Arnold Schwarzenegger wants to borrow $15 billion.
Yeah, well... Yeah,
probably to make Terminator 5.
The Schwarzenegger is another can of beans, my brother. But, even though we vote for the primary, we determine who's going to be in the race for the presidential race. Even if we do go vote for the president, and by the way, if the last election's anything to show for the next election, then we're doomed anyways. But isn't it determined by electoral votes, which,
Well, yeah. In the last election, the person with the most votes lost.
Right, exactly. So, what the hell, why should we waste our time to go out and vote? Besides the propositions, that I do give you, that, even when we do vote for propositions, look at 215, the Marijuana Act. You got the Fed stepping in right away when it goes through. So, what's the use?
Well,
that's what I...
So you probably would enjoy wearing this shirt.
Oh, yeah. I'm not an Urban Outfitters kind of guy, but, more power to them for putting out stuff, that tells it like it is.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, Tom.
Appreciate the call. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Todd on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hey, Tom. How's it going?
Okay.
Cool. You know that last presidential election, some 18 million people voted that were from the ages of 18 to 35? I think the shirt is correct. Pretty much only old people vote. We have a population of, 230 million people? So not too many young people did vote. The shirt is correct. Plus, it's our constitutional right, the freedom of speech. If they want to put that on a T-shirt, let them. It's our right.
Well, no one is censoring the shirt. In fact, not only is the shirt not being censored, I happen to believe the sentiment is true.
Yeah, so do I. And, I don't know. I think it is true. I voted once last year, and it didn't even count.
Didn't count?
No, I voted for the other person.
Oh, well, it counted, but there weren't enough of you who agreed.
True. And that was pretty much it. I agree with the shirt, and, when I get older, I think I'll actually vote more seriously. But up here in Washington, most of the stuff that we vote on, it's not what we want anyway. So
yeah, didn't you guys vote against, stadiums and stuff?
Stupid monorails and stadiums, 2 different stadiums for 2 different teams that are, crap.
Owned by billionaires? Yeah.
Yeah. that was pretty much it. But yeah, T-shirt is true. Only old people vote.
Todd, thank you. 1-800-5800-TOM. Nora on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, I'm just saying I'm 17 right now, and we should all vote. I am politically active, and I do write to my senator, and I write to whoever I can, whoever will listen, because I feel like if there's something that I don't like about this government, well, there we go. We need to have our voices heard. Why should we just deal with things?
But you know young people don't vote. You know that, right?
You know that what?
Most young people don't vote.
Well, most young people should get educated because that makes us all look bad. Honestly, all young people out there, we need our voices heard. What is this? We don't want, like, old men in Capitol Hill just deciding our taxes, deciding what we should do with our lives. I mean, this is directly, like, affecting all of us. So
I don't think young people feel that way. I think young people feel I don't have a lot of money, I don't own any property, I don't pay any taxes, what do I care?
I don't know. I have a lot of friends that feel like I do. I don't know. I think that...
Now, come on. Overall, don't you think this T-shirt is true? Come on.
I'm thinking about, like, maybe ignorant young people that are just sitting on their butts.
I'm not talking about whether they're ignorant. I'm just saying, don't you think the T-shirt is right?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, so you're telling me these volumes of young people are going in and voting?
They said...
No. Oh, dear. Take the word should out of the sentence, okay? Are young people voting in large numbers?
Yeah, large numbers, unfortunately.
No.
Yeah.
They are not, are they?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
No.
All right, they're not. So the T-shirt is right.
I'm guessing so.
Okay. Nora, thank you. I love the woulda, coulda, shoulda. Stop it. 1-800-5800-TOM. Claudia on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. How are you?
Okay.
I think everybody, in regards to the shirt, you're just getting kind of goofy. It's clearly an ironic statement. Urban Outfitters, like, makes money off, like, facetious statements, like Jesus is my homeboy, that kind of thing. I do agree that most people in my generation haven't been voting, but I think that's changing.
Wait, really? Where do you see this evidence?
Well, I know, and I can't speak for everyone in my generation, certainly, but I know, groups of my friends have been really politically active. And
don't you think, though, that you tend to have friends who are like you?
Well, of course, that's why I can't speak for everyone in my group.
Right, but how about if you look around in general, like just general demographic trends?
Well, I think that's why shirts like that sell, because apathy, like, you feel helpless, you feel like you can't actually change anything because people don't even bother voting, but I think that, especially the last presidential election, people saw how close we were to actually changing something, and I think at this time there'll be more of an interest.
We were?
Turnout.
What were we close to changing in the last election?
Well, as far as if a higher percentage of my generation had actually voted, say, for Gore, then perhaps he'd have been elected president instead of Bush, that sort of thing. I think they saw that it was something that if they did, something could actually have been changed.
I think actually things would have stayed the same because Al Gore's whole campaign was that if you like Bill Clinton, you gotta like me.
Well, I mean, I'm not speaking to the specifics of the campaign, just the numbers, the closeness of it.
Mm-hmm. You can't count on young people coming out to vote. It's not going to happen.
Well, you can't count on anything, Tom.
Not going to happen. Yeah, rock the vote my ass. Rock my ass. Thank you. It's toll free here. It's 1-800-5800-TOM.
The Tom Leykis Show.
1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Thank you for tuning in. Urban Outfitters is calling a T-shirt. It says, voting is for old people. And some of the political groups are upset. The Harvard Institute of Politics writing the shirt's message could not be further from the truth. Wrong. It's exactly true. Let's say hello here to Adam on the Tom Leykis Show.
Hey, Dad.
How you doing, son?
Pretty well.
Yeah.
I think in reality, the shirt is true. Not enough young people vote, but there definitely needs to be a larger percentage here of voting. The reason they don't vote, though, they're just lazy. It's the same reason they got to go out there and win your ATM return.
I don't think that's the only reason. I think the main reason is that young people don't own property, don't pay taxes.
That's exactly it.
But because they don't feel they have anything at stake, and so they don't vote.
I'm working my ass off right now, though, so that I can own property, so that I can have my own business.
Mm-hmm.
So these issues are going to affect me. They might not.
But the T-shirt is true, isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, keep taking that with a bong rip.
Here you go, Adam. Kevin on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How's it going?
Okay, Kevin.
Hey, I'm a 32-year-old, single guy. I totally agree with the shirt. But unfortunately, in that truth, it's sad. I mean, the state of our younger generation, I'm only 10 years removed from a lot of the,
You know what? People have been saying this about every younger generation going back to the beginning of this country.
They have. And maybe it's time we need to wake up and, I think MTV for a while was the Rock the Vote. That was fairly successful. Look at how many young people voted for Clinton back in those. So I think maybe we need to get back onto something like that.
Rock the Vote is still there. No one's paying any attention.
Well, maybe we need to get, they need to get some more people in charge and make it a little more lively. And I think the last caller had a great point. A lot of these kids are saying, well, I'm working, I'm doing my McDonald's job or whatever the deal is, and I don't have time to vote. But, 5, 10 more years when they have a family and have kids, a lot of the things that they did not vote on are going to affect them. And a lot of these kids need to realize...
And they'll vote then.
They'll vote then, but what good is that going to do? Yeah, for something that could have affected them 5 years previously.
Well, I think that this is the way it's always been. Going back to when they first gave the 18-year-olds the right to vote in 1972.
Right.
It's always been like this.
But has it always been a good excuse now?
No one's talking about whether it's a good excuse or a bad excuse. Keep in mind that people who were 18 years old in 1972 are now 50.
True. No, I agree. I completely agree with everything you're saying. I just think it's a sad state that we live in because, this is our generation. But, of course, 10 years ago we said that about the previous generation. It's sad. That's all.
That isn't going to change.
That's too bad.
Thank you for the call.
Oh, thank you, Tom.
Appreciate it. Joe on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, how are you?
Pretty good.
Well, here's what I think. I think, people aren't voting, and I do agree that the shirt is true demographically, but however, if somebody wants to say I'm an idiot and put the shirt on and have everybody say, well, you don't vote, well, then you know what? Now I know who to respect and who to say is contributing.
So you automatically think people who don't vote are idiots?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think if you have a political stance for it, but I think most people that are 18 don't fully understand the ramifications of voting. And if they're wearing the shirt, it's kind of just to be cool. I don't think they're really making a political statement. If they're making a political statement...
Not even a political statement, because they're not political. They're making a true statement.
That's true. That is true. I agree that most young people don't vote, and I think they just don't understand it like your callers have been saying, and they don't understand what's going on in society, and they don't know how to even contribute to it necessarily. So the fact that they're wearing a shirt just kind of lets me know who to point out, saying, here's another one who's not really contributing.
All you have to do is look at somebody's age, and you'll know whether they're likely to vote or not.
Absolutely. I agree.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Tom.
Amy on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
Okay.
I basically agree somewhat with what the other callers are saying, but I think that the biggest thing that's being overlooked here is the state of the education system today in America. We're expecting young people to turn out in large quantities, to the voting booths, and why? They're not getting a proper education in the public school system, that's for sure. They're not able to understand all the different parts that come together to make our government. It's taken me a good 10 years before I realized what really makes the government work and, how to make a difference.
Hey, you know what? When I went to high school, they taught us all that stuff, and young people still didn't vote.
Well, maybe when you went to high school, the Bush administration wasn't, implementing the No Child Left Untested Act, Maybe you actually had a chance to learn something and absorb. But, I really don't think that the state of the education system today is giving our young people a chance, is testing, their boundaries as young adults at all. I think it's ridiculous. And then they've got this, and then we put MTV, why are they responsible for trying to get the young people to turn out? I understand that.
I really don't think MTV gives a rat's ass if young people turn out.
No.
They do Rock the Vote so that people won't criticize them as much for other controversial stuff they do.
Yeah, I can agree with that. But, I think that it's time we put, the education back in the hands of the people who really know what they're talking about, like the teachers, for one, the states. Get the education system out of the clutches of big government. I'm just sick of big government dipping their nose into, states' rights.
Well, fact is, the government the states have controlled public education going back centuries. This is not some new plot by Democrats. It's been around a long time.
The Department of Education was started in the Reagan era. We didn't even have a Department of Education on a federal level at all until the 80s. So that's when the government started, dipping their nose in it.
Talking about the federal government.
Am I talking too much?
I said you're talking about the federal government.
Right. But states' rights, they're under the control right now on a lot of levels by the federal government, especially in terms of funding, So.
And what does this have to do with young people not voting?
It has to do with the fact that the education system now.
Young people have never voted. Do you think the educational system was better 30 years ago?
Yes.
Young people didn't vote then either.
Well, didn't you say that the 18-year-old was only allowed to start voting when they were in 1972?
Right, 32 years ago.
Well, you also have to think about cognitive development as well. If you...
Cognitive development?
Cognitive development. In the brain.
What about it? I know what it is. What about it?
Of course you know what it is, Tom.
What does it have to do with voting?
Yes, it has to do with a mindset. It has to.
So you're telling me there was better cognitive development 30 years ago than there is today?
No, I'm just saying that the average, say, 18 to 21-year-old, their perspective isn't completely honed until they're 21, 22 years old.
All right, so then what you're saying is what I'm saying, which is this is not going to change.
It'll change if the education system changes.
Oh, no. No, well, because you already said the educational system was better 32 years ago, and young people didn't vote back then either.
Well, yeah, they didn't vote because, okay. You know what, I don't know the statistics for that, so I can't argue either way. I don't have, the numbers to say how many young people voted or whatnot.
Right, but certainly you don't know what's causing it. Today, because trust me, and you can read up on this if you want to. To give you an example, just to pull something out of my ass here, and young people got the right to vote in 1972. It was Richard Nixon and the Vietnam War against George McGovern who was against the war. And everybody thought that all the young people, now they can vote, and they're going to vote Nixon out. Nixon won in a landslide. You can check it.
Okay.
It's been right from the beginning. The young people have never voted and will never vote.
Well, I think, personally, I really think that if they were taught under a constructivist paradigm in terms of,
What?
education.
What are you talking about? People start going to the $20 words when they don't have an answer.
No. I just have so much that I want to communicate, and I just can't articulate it properly.
But what you can't articulate is why young people have never voted. You act as if...
I'm telling you.
Back years ago, young people used to participate, and now they don't. It's not true. I don't care how many syllables you use. You can't get around that fact.
All right, Tom.
All right, dear. Thank you so much.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM.
You have got to be the lowest rung on the evolutionary ladder I've heard in a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
The Tom Leykis Show.
The Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM. A bunch of people upset about Urban Outfitters' new T-shirt that says, "Voting is for old people." I say they're just telling the truth. All right? Tyler on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing great, Daddy.
Thank you, son.
Oh, man, you couldn't be more right. I've been an inspector over here at the elections for the last 11 years, and if you want to find a date, don't go vote.
Yeah, you're telling me hot chicks don't vote?
I've seen honestly, maybe 8. There's a lot of hot moms, but no hot chicks.
Yeah. Nobody who's single and available.
No, they got better things to do, or they really don't care. That's why they're hot, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think when women become moms, that's their first experience with being concerned about, their kids going to school or health care or crap like that, and suddenly they vote. But
oh, yeah. Well, I've been stuck for 11 years. I started when I was 18. It was my mom's bright idea to get me into the whole voting thing. And you know what? They're so desperate for people that, for $50, they'll keep calling me, month after month until I say I'll do.
Now, Dean says a hot T-shirt would be "Hot Chicks Don't Vote."
Yes.
I like that.
That's great.
Only make it in small and medium sizes.
That's all the people that buy it. Hey, could you blow me up, Tom?
Here you go. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. It's Ryan on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
How you doing, Tom?
Hi, Ryan.
I think you're pretty much right here, but one reason I think that young people don't vote is because, well, it has something to do with the fact of the electoral college. Basically, no one could vote and a president would still be elected. Therefore, they just feel like, just like the last election, they feel like, well, why even vote if the guy that we're voting for doesn't even get put in the office?
And so you wouldn't spend your time. Have you ever thought about it or registered or anything? No.
Yeah, I'm registered to vote.
You are? Why if you don't vote?
I do vote. I still feel like I can make somewhat of a difference, but I was a poli-sci major, so like I basically had to register, or else they wouldn't let me into the program. But I think that most kids my age, from what I talked to, they're like, why would I vote if, based off the last election, the person we voted for didn't even get elected. So I think if they did away with the electoral college, things might change.
That's the reason. Well, the electoral college applies no matter how old you are. Why would young people be more likely to not vote because of that?
Well, I think they just don't understand politics well enough, and that's what they just chalk it off to, is the fact that my vote doesn't count, and therefore, I'm not going to vote. They don't understand maybe any more of the specifics or anything like that. I mean, I think you're pretty much right here, but I think that could be one reason why young people don't vote.
Okay. Ryan, thank you for that. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. Omar on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
I just think that no 18 or 19-year-old right at this moment is voting. They're out there having fun, going to clubs, and if you were to go to a nightclub and ask how many of them have voted, they're all going to tell you, like, not yet, or they're not even registered to vote. Mm-hmm. I'm 24 years old, and I'm still not registered to vote. I mean, what difference does it make? The situation's still the same.
You don't care.
Yeah, well, whoever wins, we're still up. Taxes still go up. Money's being spent in the wrong way, so each year is the same thing. Just like you said, 32 years ago, 18-year-old person started to be eligible to vote. Are they doing it? No, because at this time of our life, we're not caring about that.
And never will. It doesn't matter what decade it is, young people will never vote in big numbers. It'll never happen.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Omar. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. More of your telephone calls are coming up.
Tom Leykis. Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-866.
Even though you've got many issues with me, you continue to listen.
Isn't that sick?
Yes.
It's like bottleneckers on the freeway. What's going on with this stupid waste of time?
Rubberneckers.
Whatever.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Show. Tony, hello.
Hey, what's happening, Tom?
Let's do a radio show here, Tony.
Hey, brother, you know why I don't vote?
Why?
Because that's how they do the selection for jury duty. That's what I've always been told. My father registered to vote, and right afterwards, boom, they started nailing him for jury duty.
And you don't want to be on a jury?
Nope. I don't want to do jury duty. I don't want to do jury duty. No thanks.
That's how badly you don't want jury duty. You won't even vote. Hang on a second here. Dan, what do you want to say to Tony?
This guy, just listen to the way he's talking. I mean, I'm honestly glad that this guy is not a juror. To have this guy deciding someone's fate, please. Don't vote.
Yes.
Don't be a jerk.
I'll remember the O.J. Simpson trial. That's the kind of people who do jury duty. I'm proud.
Absolutely.
As an Angelino, I am so proud of what they did.
Yeah, but I would have hung his butt. Well, that's a different story. But don't vote. I mean, don't vote and let this president we have just trash all over us. That's ridiculous.
You know, I'm ex-military, and I have to agree with everything that he's done. I back the Commander-in-Chief 100%.
And back him blindly, even though he's destroying our economy, destroying the environment?
I don't back him blindly. He served just like I did.
George Bush served?
There's a little controversial around it, but I was an Army reservist, and you can't always prove, you know, where you've been and served.
Yeah, you can't always prove, but there's got to be some documentation. No one can vouch that he was there or did anything. Now, Kerry, hey, listen, if you're a military man, how can you not stand behind Kerry? Vietnam veteran, Purple Heart.
I don't know. I just seem to think that you know, Bush has got the right idea, you know, and especially, you know, look what he just did with these gay marriages. I mean, he's totally against them, and so am I. Hey,
you know what?
You know what I always say? If you're against gay marriage, Tony, don't marry a man. Our email address is my name. It's tom@blowmeuptom.com.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Write us, The Tom Leykis Show. Post Office Box 4455, Hollywood, California, 90078. Email us. Our email address is my name. It's tom@blowmeuptom.com. tom@blowmeuptom.com. We'll call our comment line. The number is 310-842-9592. From Los Angeles, it's The Tom Leykis Show.